Hello everyone, welcome to Grocery Express demo presented by Group 57. To better present our work, let me start with the table of contents. For this assignment 5, we selected authentication, authorization, robustness, and auditability, these four architecture areas as our research objectives. First of all, let me show you how authentication works in our system. As we make sure our application runs smoothly, we can start testing our first function, authentication, with the help of Postman API platform. As for the authentication testing, we will mainly focus on three scenarios. The first scenario happens when a user tends to browse our service as a guest without logging. As you can see, under this situation, due to the presence of Spring Security services, the requests to all pages such as hello, make store, and start order get denied since there are forbidden errors showing in the Postman response. The second scenario happens when a user logs in with incorrect credentials. Correspondingly, there is no JSON web token generated. A user without a correct token cannot have access to any pages in our Express service, which shares the same situation with the previous scenario. The last scenario happens when a user logs in with the correct username and password. As you can see, our application generates GWT for this user. When user wants access to a particular page, the only thing he needs to do is to enter this token, and then he gets complete access to this page. Second, let's move to the authorization section. We set 4 different roles in our application with the help of Spring Security. Namely, they are customer, employee, admin, and super admin. It's worth stressing that the super admin has complete access to our system. Next step, we're going to verify whether the authorization has been correctly implemented as we designed in the use case diagram. Let me give you a brief introduction of what we expected from the authorization. Since the APIs towards 2 different roles are relatively complex, we're not able to showcase all of them in our demo. Here we select 5 representative APIs for authorization testing. At first, we are going to test the customer role. We open the Postman application and enter the Generate GWT page. Let me enter the login credentials of one customer role named Chain. First, GWT generated immediately. We copy the first GWT for all later authorization, and then second GWT is generated for further front-end service. Now we are capable of validating whether customer chain can add a store. In this place, we add the token corresponding to chain, and then we find that a forbidden error exists, which means the role of customer chain cannot add a store. In this table, we put a lowercase letter n in the cell to mark the denial response from the server to the customer. The second function we test is whether the role of customer can add customer. We first get into make customer page and enter GWT. After that, we get the same forbidden message, which means the role of customer cannot add customer. The third function that we're gonna test is request atom. Use the same method. We enter the GWT, and we do not get a forbidden message at this time, which means the customer can perform the request atom operation. Next, we check if the customer role can display customers. We use chains token to log into the display customer page, and then we get a forbidden arrow, which means the customer cannot perform the operation of display customers. Lastly, we test if customer chain can save user. We use the same method as before, and we get a forbidden arrow, which means customer chain does not have access to save user. Secondly, we verify whether the role of employees have the access to this 5 methods. At first, we get into generate GWT page and enter username along with the paired password. Then we generate the token corresponding to Jim. Now we get into the page add store and enter the token. We find that employee can add store. Then we test if the employee can add a customer. We get into page make customer and enter GWT. A forbidden arrow. A forbidden arrow indicates that employee do not have access to add customer. Then we test the request add-on function. Following the same procedures, it shows the employee does not have access to request add-on. Due to the time issues, we are not going to perform every function. As you can see from the table, in the second column, the role of customer and admin don't have the access to App Store, but employee and super admin do. Similarly, in terms of display customer functions in column 5, the roles of employee, admin, and super admin do have the access to this function. However, the customer do not. To sum up, we've successfully implemented the function of authorization, because of which the service can be well and safely managed. Then let's proceed to the third architecture area, auditability. To be honest, we only achieve one function in which the super admin is able to view all orders created by a specific customer ID, aka customer account. After we successfully run the program, we can open the Postman and get the GWT for super admin Jim. The store has been successfully added, and the add-on picking has been successfully added. The palette named Alan has been successfully added. The first drawer has been successfully added, and the palette towards a specific drawer has been assigned. To make the customer, we will make 3 different customers. The first customer will be AA. Second customer will be BB. And last customer will be CC. When we call the display customer APIs, we find that the 3 customers have been successfully added. In this start order session, we would create 3 different orders by 3 different customers. As for the request add-on, the 3 orders all request 3 backends. Then let's call the find all orders by user ID API. When we put the user ID as AA, we can find the order A. And the user BB place the order B. User CC place the order C, which perfectly match what we designed in the auditability session. The last session I'm gonna show you is the robustness, as known as the load balance.
And now I'm gonna show you how our system handle the robustness topic. So at the beginning, I want to say right now we handle it perfectly besides we got the 401 error because the Spring security. So right now I shut down the security function for demonstrate the robustness. So first of all, we need to run our Eureka service. Eureka service is running already and it's running on the A661. And the next step, we need to run our database service. Our database service is also a Spring Boot server, but work as a database only. So we only use the model and the controller two functions. This is, we need to delete it. We are not use service at all. And there only has two functions for the database. One is a get database, and the other one is update platform, which is a database. And the next we need to run our Express service. So this is working as a thing service, and when we run it, we to show the robustness function, we gonna run two instances. So one is so one instance is runs normally, which is on 8080 port, and the other one I set it up to the 81. You also can see it here. So our client, our thing service gonna basically handle all the logic work. So every time when it receives any request from Zuo, it's gonna every time when it receives any request from Zuo, like App Store, it's gonna go to its service layer first, and then as you see, it's gonna call our database server by thing to get the whole map of our data, and then do some change on that maps, and after that we're gonna send the map back, which is updating. So in this way, we can keep the maps, keep the map in our database service automatically. And the last step is we should run our Zuo service. So our Zuo. Okay. The Zuo service on the 8662, and it can call on the it's gonna go to the Eureka and looking for the service here, and we need to use add R as a resource. So for example, first let's check our database. So as you see, it's empty. And now let's add a store. So our Zuo port sending, and back to our database. As you can see, the fresh market added. And let's see if we can get the store through our Zuo port. So 862 stores. Okay, so we get the store successfully. Right now, let's add the store through the Zuo again. This time we change the name to Apple. Okay, now I want to do one thing. So on our Express, we have two instances running, right? I'm gonna kill one, just a random one. Okay, so right now the 8080 is killing. Let's try if we still can get the store we just add. Yes, we can get it without any effect. So I think this shows our system how to handle the robustness. Thank you. Now let's see one more features. So add a store through the Zuo. So call it Google. Adding, checking it there, and right now let's add an item. Display. You see the order port is from Zuo. Get it? Right now let's see. We add a new item like iPhone. Okay, and going back, turn off instance. Last time I turned the 8080, so this time I turned the 8081. It's shutting down. And go back to see if we can display the items. Yes, it's there. Thank you.